Good morning guys, Richard. Today in this video is a part 2 video on the Toyota Supra. So it's every generation of the Supra. So like the A50, A60, A70, A80, and the A90 Supra, which in reality is a BMW Z4 underneath, a G29. And also, I will be doing a couple more videos today, because I have done some information on a couple other cars actually, and even if you guys seen, I posted something on YouTube yesterday on my community. If you would see my channel, if you go into community, you would see the post I posted on about this, which is ESX Motorsports. So oh my God, you guys okay? God, it's just the stand. This stand doesn't hold that well, so kind of. Hold on, let me just adjust this real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna hold it like this. There we go. Perfect. So as I was saying before that my phone got knocked over, there's a part 2 video on the Supra. So I got the A60, A70, A80, and the A90 Supra, and some motorsport stuff for the Supra as well. And speaking of motorsports, the other one I'm gonna be doing is this one right here. As you can see, it's called ESX Motorsports. Now this is from all the info about the racing team, which was founded by professional racing driver and a world record holder and actor Ali Afshar. So he was also in Born to Race. He played himself actually in the movie. He used his actual name in the movie, Mr. Afshar, as they call him in the movie. In Born to Race 1, which is from 2011, and Born to Race Fast Track, which is number 2 from 2014. So I've seen both of them, and the best one I like is definitely the first one, because it's just pretty cool, you know. But the second one was pretty good, actually, you know, as well. So second one was like best. So yeah, let's do it. Alright, so before we start, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and comment below what you guys think, and let's get started. Never mind if it's crossover, just because I printed this off and it was double-sided, so that's a bit of a disadvantage, but well. Okay, here we go. Now, part 2. The second generation Supra, which is the Toyota Celica Supra A60 from 1981. Here we go. So it's overview first. Also called Toyota Celica XX, which is in Japan, and Toyota Celica Supra. Production was from July 1981 to December 1985. Model years, there we go. It's from 1982 to 1986. Assembly is in Japan at Tahara at the Tahara plant in Aichi. Body and chassis next. Related underneath is the Toyota Carina and the Toyota Celica A60. So both these cars are A60 models. Next up we got the powertrain. So let's do the engine. The engine in this car, you can get there's a bunch of different versions. You could get a 2-liter 1G EU inline 6, a 2-liter 1G GEU DOHC dual overhead cam 24 valve inline 6, a 2-liter M-TE/TEU turbo inline 6, a 2.8-liter 5M-E inline 6, and a 2.8-liter 5M-E GE/GEU and GEU DOHC dual overhead cam inline 6. Transmissions you could get are a 5-speed W55, W57, and W58 manual, and you can also get one with a 4-speed A43DL and a 4-speed A43DE automatic gearbox. Dimensions is next. Wheelbase 2,614 millimeters, 102.9 inches. Round that up as 103. Length 4,661 millimeters, 183.5 inches. Width 1,695 millimeters, 66.7 inches. Also, you can get one which is 1,720 millimeters, 67.7 inches, so an extra inch bigger, but that's for the 2.8 liter version. Height 1,321 millimeters, 52 inches. Curb weight is 3,000 pounds, which is 1,361 kilos. In mid-1981, Toyota completely redesigned the Celica Supra as well as the entire Celica lineup for the 1982 model year. In Japan, they're known as the Celica XX, but the Celica Supra name was used for the world market. Still based on the Celica platform, there were several key differences, most notably the design on the front end and fully retractable pop-up headlights. Other differences were the inline-6 rather than the inline-4 engine, as well as an increase in both length and wheelbase to accommodate the bigger engine. Cars installed with a 5ME, well, not 5ME, sorry. Cars installed with a 5M engine were slightly wider, while other models remained compliant with JDR, which is short for Japanese domestic regulations. In 1981, Japanese buyers offered an alternative to the Celica XX liftback or fastback body style called the body style called the Supra Coupe, which was offered at a different Japanese Toyota dealership network called the Toyota Store. As the Celica XX was sold at the Toyota Corolla store, the 4-door performance sedan called the Celica Camry was realigned with the Japanese market, Carina, while in North America, the Cressida took on that role. Next up we got the L-Type and P-Type. In the North American market, the Celica Supra was available in 2 different models. There was the Performance Type, which is P-Type, and the Luxury Type, which is L-Type. While being mechanically identical, they were differentiated by the available options, which is tire size, wheel size, and body trim. The P-Type had fiberglass fender flares over the wheel wells, while the L-Type didn't. The P-Type was also standard, while the more sporty 8-way adjustable seats. The P-Type didn't get the option of a leather interior until 1983. Initially, the Luxury Type meant automatic transmission, and Performance Type stood for manual. All editions of the P-Type had the same 14 by 7-inch aluminum alloy wheels, and throughout the years, the L-Type had 14 by 5.5-inch wheels until 1985, when they were changed to a P-Type styled 15 by 6-inch. The L-Type also had the option of a digital instrument cluster with a trip computer. Some Canadian models, both L-Type and P-Type, had this option, as well as a few rare instances of American models. The L-Type cluster was easily distinguished from the P-Type cluster, but the ECT function written on the dial plate. The digital cluster featured digital tachometer, digital speedometer, and electronic fuel and coolant level gauges. The trip computer could calculate and display various things such as fuel economy in mpg miles per gallon, estimated time of arrival (ETA), and distance remaining to destination. Supras with trip computers also came with cruise control. Excluding the 1982 model, all P-types were available with headlight washers as an option, but the L-types were never given such an option. Although gear ratios change throughout the years, all P-types came standard with an LSD limited slip differential. Next up, we got one from 1981. In 1981, for the 1982 model year, in the North American market, the Celica Supra's engine was the 2.8 liter, 12 valve, 2 valves per cylinder, DOHC 5M-GE inline 6. Power output was 147 PS, 108 kilowatts, 145 horsepower, and 155 pound-feet, 210 newton meters of torque. The engine used an 8.8 to 1 compression ratio to achieve the power and featured a vacuum advanced distributor. Vacuum advanced distributor. There we go. When the car debuted, it had a drag coefficient of whoa. There we go. Hopefully we'll hold now. A drag coefficient of 0.348. 0 to 60, 0 to 100 km an hour. 0 to 100 km an hour. Acceleration time of 9.8 seconds. 10 seconds almost. That's slow. And a quarter mile time, 400 meters, of 17.2 seconds at 129 kilometers an hour, which is 80 miles an hour. The standard gearbox for this year was the W58 5-speed manual, with the A43DL 4-speed automatic gearbox being an option for L-types. Both gearboxes featured an overdrive gear. Overdrive gear, and an automatic featured a logging torque converter. The top gear in the 5-speed was its overdrive, whereas the automatic featured an overdrive gear. It featured an overdrive gear that would engage at speeds over 56 kilometers an hour, 35 miles an hour. The 1982 models with rear differential featured. The 1982 models rear differential featured a 3.72 to 1 ratio. The Celica Supra's 4-wheel independent suspension was specifically tuned and designed by Lotus and featured variable assisted power, rack and pinion steering, and McPherson struts up front. At the rear, it had semi-trailing arm suspension with coil springs and a stabilizer bar. Braking on the Celica Supra were handled by 4-wheel brake rotors. On the interior, this generation had standard power windows, power door locks, and power mirrors as well as a tilt steering wheel. The power door lock was located in the center console next to the power mirror control. The analog dash on this model only showed a top speed of 142 kilometers an hour, 88 miles an hour, as a reference from Back to the Future. In North America, the optional automatic climate control was renovated and was now seen as a standard feature on the A60. Cruise control and the retractable map light was standard in this generation. Some options included the addition of a sunroof, two-tone paint schemes, and a 5-speed AM/FM MXP tuner with a cassette player, which is the Fujitsu 10 Limited version. The optional cassette stereo had a 105-watt power amplifier and a 7-band graphic equalizer. The standard stereo was a 5-channel AM/FM MPX tuner. The leather interior was an option on the L-type. Oh my lord! Every time this happens, I need something to hold this down. I'm a like a try like this. Wait. Alright. Oh man, I forgot where I was since it fell over. I'm just gonna hold it like this. Okay. So the power door lock was located in the center console next to the power mirror control. I'm just resetting because I forgot where I was since my phone fell on the table again. The analog dash on of this model only showed the top speed of 142 kilometers an hour, 88 miles an hour in North America. The optional automatic climate control was renovated and was now seen as a standard feature on the A60. Cruise control and a retractable map light was standard in this generation. Some options included the addition of a sunroof, two-tone paint schemes, and a five-speaker AM/FM MX a five-speaker AM/FM MPX tuner with a cassette player, Fujitsu 10 Limited version. The optional cassette stereo had a 105-watt power amplifier and a 7-band graphic equalizer. The standard stereo was a 5-channel AM/FM MPX tuner. Leather interior was an option on the L-type model, but the P-type models limited to standard stripped cloth interior. I need to get a new camera stand for a new stand for my phone just so I can hold, because this one is just awful. The AM/FM antenna was integrated into the front windscreen rather than a typical external mast antenna. There was a key lock on the gas tank door, and the hatch and the rear bumper were black regardless of exterior color on the rest of the car. The P-type was available with an optional rear window visor above the hatch glass. The taillights had a reverse light in the center, and the door handles opened the doors by pulling sideways. The front nose badge and B-pillar only read Supra. I'm gonna do that real quick so I hold this. For the first several months of production, but were changed to read Celica Supra midway through the model year. The L-type had front and rear mud flaps, but P-type of this year didn't. Next up we got 1982. In 1982, for the 1983 model year, there was not many changes, but there was an increase in power output to 112 kilowatts, 152 PS, 150 horsepower, and 159 pound-feet, 260 newton meters of torque from the same 5M GE engine. The only real change in the engine area was the switch from a vacuum advanced to an electronic advanced distributor. Yet that didn't increase the power output. Toyota switched to a 4.10 to 1 rear gear ratio for the P-type and the 3.73 to 1 for the L-type, and 3.73 to 1 for the L-type. As for the optional automatic transmission, they replaced the A43DL 4-speed with a newly designed A43DE 4-speed. So they had the same 4-speed, but they took away the L and replaced it with an E. This is genius. It had an electronic controller that would adjust its shift pattern for a balance between performance and economy. It was the first in the industry to provide an ECT, electronically controlled transmission. Or I would call it ECG, electronic controlled gearbox. Well, it's basically the same thing. This allowed the driver to choose either the power, wall, driving mode, or normal driving mode at the touch of the button. The power mode provided the fastest acceleration and the normal mode provided the best all-around performance. The interior virtually had no changes, but changes to the exterior included a switch to a power mast antenna, mud flaps on all models, and the addition of headlight washers on the P-type. All B-pillar and nose badges for cars sold in North America read Celica Supra, and only the P-type was available in two-tone color schemes. Next up we got 1983. In 1983, for the 1984 model year, the changes were significant. Power output was increased on the 5-speed models to 119 kilowatts, 162 PS, 160 horsepower, and 163 pound-feet, 221 newton meters of torque. The increase was achieved by a mixture of a redesigned intake manifold with D-shaped intake runners and an increase in the compression ratio to 9.2 to 1. Another notable change in the 5-speed models was the switch to a 4.3 to 4.30 to 1 gear ratio in the rear differential. All automatic models retained the previous year's power statistics, but the rear gear ratio was changed to 4.10 to 1. Yeah, 4.10 to 1. So 0.20 to 0 less than than the other one that had the 4.30 to 1 in the gear ratio. I'll be back soon.